Welcome, fellow livestock farmers and entrepreneurs of the exciting pork sector. Today we are going to dive deep into the very core of your farm's profitability: genetics. If you have ever wondered why your neighbor manages to get hogs to market weight in just 5 months while you take almost 7, or why some animals hang up as pure waste fat at the packer while others are pure high-value lean meat, the answer is not magic, it is biology. The answer is in the blood, in the breed. In the modern meat industry, the concept of the generic pig no longer exists. That is a thing of the past. Today, every breed is a precision tool, a piece of biological engineering designed after decades of selection to fulfill a specific and perfect function. Some breeds are piglet factories, others are explosive growth machines, and others are responsible for giving that flavor and texture the demanding consumer seeks. Knowing these differences in detail is not just general trivia to talk about at the coffee shop. It is an absolute financial necessity for your business to survive and prosper. Today we are going to analyze the top 10 pig breeds that drive the gears of the global meat industry. But we aren't just going to list them. We are going to dissect their advantages, their hidden weaknesses, and most importantly, how you must combine them strategically to make real money. Let's start with the foundations of the industry, the so-called white giants. In the undisputed number 1 spot, we have the large white, known in America and many other regions as the Yorkshire. If the global pork industry had a king, it would undoubtedly be this animal. It is the most widely used breed on the planet, and it has plenty of reasons to wear that crown. Imagine a long, deep, resistant skeletal structure and solid legs capable of supporting heavy weight. The Yorkshire is famous for being an all-terrain and extremely balanced animal. What makes it so valuable is its dual purpose. The females are exceptional mothers, known globally for their hyper-prolificacy, capable of gestating and farrowing large uniform litters. Furthermore, they possess superior milk production, guaranteeing those piglets don't just survive, but start life with strength and heavy weaning weights. But it isn't just a maternal breed. The Yorkshire males have an explosive growth rate and produce long carcasses with a very competitive lean meat percentage. When you go to the supermarket and see pork chops of uniform size, with just the right amount of fat cover and pink meat, it is very likely there is Yorkshire blood behind them. It is the mandatory foundation for almost any commercial genetic program because it brings resistance, structure, and speed. In second place, we find its inseparable partner, the Landrace. Originally from Denmark and perfected across Europe, this hog is easily recognizable by its large, droopy ears that cover its eyes, giving it a calm appearance, and by its extremely long body. In fact, in industry slang, it is often said that the Landrace has a couple of extra ribs compared to other breeds. Why is it so vital to the industry? Because the Landrace is the undisputed queen of maternity. If the Yorkshire is the king, the Landrace is the supreme mother. It is used primarily in maternal lines because it has the best milking ability on the market and an unmatched maternal instinct. These are sows that rarely crush their piglets and defend and care for them with dedication. But its contribution to finishing is also technical. Its unusual body length translates directly into a longer loin and, therefore, a higher quantity of high-value chops and premium-quality belly, bacon. However, a technical detail. The pure Landrace can be a bit more delicate on its feet and hooves than the Yorkshire, so it is rarely used pure for final finishing, but rather as the base to manufacture the perfect hybrid mother, the famous F1 sow. Now let's switch gears and move to the breeds that bring the power, color, and muscle to the equation. In third place is the powerful Duroc. If you have ever eaten pork that truly had an intense flavor, overflowing juiciness, and a tender texture, you are eating Duroc genetics. This brick-red hog with droopy ears is the terminal sire par excellence when we are looking for meat quality. Unlike the white breeds that prioritize extreme leanness, meat without fat, the Duroc has the unique genetic capacity to infiltrate fat inside the muscle. That intramuscular fat, technically known as marbling, is what keeps the meat from drying out when cooked and maintains its juices. But the Duroc isn't just flavor and cooking. It is a tank in the pen. It is one of the most rustic, strong, and resistant breeds in existence. They grow fast, have an enviable feed conversion ratio, FCR. They convert feed into pounds very well. And most importantly, they are tough animals that withstand rough handling conditions that more delicate breeds would not survive. That is why, in the industry, the Duroc boar is used massively to cross with white mothers, adding hardiness, speed, and flavor to the hogs going to the packer. In fourth place, we have the bodybuilder of the porcine world, the Pietrain. Originally from Belgium, this black and white spotted pig is famous for one thing: pure, hard muscle. If you look at a Pietrain from behind, you will see double hams that look like they are about to explode, loins as wide as a table and an almost total absence of back fat. The Pietrain is the breed that revolutionized the European and global industry when the market started demanding light, diet-friendly lean meat. It has the highest lean meat percentage of all pig breeds. However, it is important to talk about its clinical history. The traditional pure Pietrain carried a genetic problem known as the PSS, porcine stress syndrome, or halothane gene, which could cause sudden death or produce pale, soft, and exudative meat, PSE, if the animal was stressed before slaughter. Fortunately, modern genetics has worked hard to clean up this defect. Today, we use stress-negative Pietrain lines as terminal sires in markets that pay for carcass yield. If your packer pays you more per pound of clean meat and penalizes you for having back fat, the Pietrain is your undisputed financial tool. In fifth place, we find the Hampshire. It is unmistakable to the eye, a black hog with a perfect white belt encircling its shoulders and front legs. It is an American breed that has been a pillar of the meat industry for decades. The Hampshire is world famous for its loin eye. It has a massive and deep loin muscle area. Furthermore, it is a breed with very little back fat, making it very attractive to the butcher. For a long time, it was the undisputed leader in the United States. Although it lost a little ground to the Duroc and Pietrain in some specific markets due to a gene called the Napole gene, RN, that could slightly acidity the meat if the industrial process wasn't handled well, modern Hampshire lines remain production titans. They bring a robustness, vitality, and meat structure that few can equal. It is an ideal animal for systems seeking a perfect balance between lean meat and physical durability in the finishing floor. Arriving at sixth place, we have a historical gem that has resurged with impressive force, the Berkshire. Of English origin, it is a black pig with 6 white points, feet, face, and tail, and erect ears. For years, the intensive industry ignored it a bit because it didn't grow as fast as the Yorkshire, nor was it as muscular as the Pietrain. But then, the culinary world changed. Top chefs and gourmet consumers started rejecting dry, white industrial pork and began looking for a superior experience. The Berkshire is considered the Wagyu of pork. Its meat is darker, redder, with a high pH that guarantees superior water retention, juiciness, and spectacular fine marbling. In Japan, it is revered under the name Kurobuta and commands gold standard prices. If your business model is not selling cheap industrial volume in bulk, but selling premium meat to high-end restaurants or boutique shops, the Berkshire has no competition. Although its feed conversion is a bit more expensive, the final sale price of its meat more than compensates for that investment. In seventh place is the Chester White. A breed developed entirely in the United States, specifically in Chester County, Pennsylvania. It is a white pig, similar to the Landrace or Yorkshire, but with droopy ears that don't fully cover the face and a very solid structure. The Chester White earned its place in history and on this list for its longevity and structural soundness. It is an extremely durable breed. In intensive production systems, where sows are often culled early due to leg problems from concrete slat floors, the Chester White holds up. The mothers are excellent producers and very careful with their litters. In the finishing phase, although it doesn't have the muscular explosiveness of the Duroc, it produces very high-quality meat. It is often used to add bone density and durability to commercial maternal lines, ensuring animals reach market weight without breaking down, going lame, or stalling out early. In eighth place, we have the giant Poland China. Despite its confusing name, it does not come from Poland or China, but from the United States. It is one of the largest and heaviest breeds in the hog world. It is a black pig with 6 white points, just like the Berkshire, but with droopy ears. The superpower of the Poland China is its massive structure and weight gain at advanced ages. It is an animal that keeps growing and packing on pounds when other breeds have already plateaued or started accumulating only fat. It produces carcasses with gigantic loin eyes. It is a breed used strategically to maximize the total pounds produced per animal. If your market asks for very heavy hogs above the standard industry average, Poland China genetics help you reach those high weights while maintaining a solid, massive body structure without becoming a ball of lard. In ninth place is the spotted swine. Formerly known as the spotted Poland China, it is basically a derived version of the previous one but with a very characteristic pattern of large black and white spots. The spotted is the definition of functional efficiency. It is a pig designed to grow fast and convert feed into meat very efficiently. They are fast-maturing and very rustic animals, ideal for systems that are not ultra-high technology. In the North American industry, they are highly valued because they transmit to their offspring that capacity to eat and grow without constant veterinary complications. They aren't the most refined in gourmet quality, nor the most extreme in muscle, but they are reliable workers. They bring rotation speed to the farm, allowing you to ship batches to market a few days earlier than average if managed with the right nutrition. And finally, to close our top 10, we have to mention a breed that, although its management is totally different from the rest, represents a giant cultural and multi-million-dollar part of the global meat industry, the Iberian pig, Iberico. We couldn't leave out the king of global charcuterie. Although the Iberian pig is not raised in intensive industrial systems like the Yorkshire, its industry is colossal. It is a slow-growing pig, with dark skin and fine legs, genetically designed by nature to accumulate large amounts of oleic fat, especially when fed on acorns in the open range, dehesa. Why do I include it in a list of fattening breeds? Because it represents maximum specialization. While the other 9 breeds compete to see who reaches 220 pounds faster spending less corn, the Iberian competes to see who produces the highest gastronomic quality fat in the world. Furthermore, in the commercial ham industry, the cross of Iberian with Duroc at 50% or 75% is used massively. This cross allows for animals that grow faster than a pure Iberian and have better meat conformation, while keeping that infiltrated fat the customer loves. It teaches us that fattening isn't always speed. Sometimes, fattening is time, patience, and supreme quality. Now that you know the 10 protagonists, I want to dedicate a minute to explaining the final strategy, the secret that separates profitable farms from those that merely survive: hybrid vigor and the terminal cross. The most common mistake of the rookie breeder is falling in love with a single breed. They say, "I like Duroc," so they breed pure Duroc. Or, "I like Pietrain," and they have Pietrain sows and boars. That is a financial mistake. The successful swine industry is based on complementarity. We use the strengths of some to cover the weaknesses of others. The magic formula used by 90% of the global industry works like this. You take a Yorkshire female and cross her with a Landrace male. From there, a hybrid F1 female is born. That F1 female is a super sow. She has the resistance of the father and the milk of the mother, and thanks to heterosis, hybrid vigor, she is more fertile and resistant than either of her purebred parents. Then, you cross that super sow F1 with a terminal sire from a third breed. Do you want lean meat and carcass yield? You use a Pietrain boar. Do you want resistance, speed, and flavor? You use a Duroc boar. The piglet born from that triple cross is a biological rocket. It has the health of the hybrid mother and the meat power of the terminal father. It grows faster, dies less, and eats better. So fellow breeder, don't try to reinvent the wheel by raising a single pure breed for everything, unless you are selling genetics. Use science to your advantage. Your farm is a protein transformation business, and each of these breeds is a specialized employee you must hire for the right job. Evaluate your market, see what your customers are asking for, whether they want lean chops or juicy meat, and choose the genetic combination that puts the most money in your pocket at the end of the cycle. I hope this detailed tour through the porcine elite has opened your eyes to the immense possibilities you have in your barn. Genetics advances every day, and you must advance with it so as not to get left behind. To your success, fellow breeder. Until next time.